And welcome into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. Post game, Feb 27th. Boston Bruins lose in regulation 2-1 to the New York Islanders. They are now winless in their previous 5 games, 0-3-2 at that time. Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor, proudly presented by Fazenda Coffee Roasters out of Dedham. They are Boston's premier boutique coffee roaster. They absolutely are the place you want to go. They power some of Boston's best cafes and restaurants with exceptional coffee. They can also power your home with exceptional coffee. Check out fazendacoffee.com or go to fazendacoffee.com/wholesale if you've got a wholesale business. And if you want to get right to the Morning Brew stuff, fazendacoffee.com/morning brew. Morning Brew blend, Morning Brew hats, and the Clean Canteen Travelers. Thank you to Fazenda Coffee Roasters in Dedham. All right, Razor. 39 shots for the Bruins, 20 shots for the Islanders. Opportunities, obviously, Bruins need, look, when it's all said and done, the only numbers that matter to me are wins. That's what it comes down to. There's no moral victories. There's no attaboys, as you like to say here and there, at least in my take. But give me your perspective on this team now that we've battened back for a couple of games since the Four Nations break. They're there, but they're close, but they're all talking post-game, though. We're going to keep playing the right way. We're doing the right thing. What's your take on where this team is at now that we've had a couple of games? And again, they're winless in that time since Four Nation.
Yeah, five losses, all 1-goal games. They're working really hard. There's teams that aren't maybe working all the way through right now at this time of year with 20 games left. They start kind of looking ahead. This group is not doing that. Man, they're grinding. They put so much into the last 2 games watching from ice level, and just seeing what they're trying to do without their top 2 defensemen. And again, we knew and we talked about out of the break losing McAvoy and not having Lindholm come back. It just changed the dynamic that we thought was going to be here after the break. Before the break, going into the break, we talked about what they were going to look like, and it's you just can't convince me that those 2 guys on the back end's worth half a goal a game over the last 5, and that they're in a different place. And unfortunately they're grinding, and it's not enough. And tonight is just another way to lose. They've kind of, the last 3 games out of the break, they've lost in all different ways. And all been very close doing it, and could easily, no one wants to hear it, but you could easily debate or discuss why they should have won all 3 of these games.
So the fact that, everybody talking post game about being close, using that, okay, at least publicly, I know they're frustrated. We heard that word a handful of times tonight. I'm sure you heard it in the locker room too when you went down there, right? But there doesn't seem to be any pissed offness. Is that just because they're doing everything they can? Is that just because they understand they are what they are, Razor? Meaning they know that they're giving it their all, and they're accepting that, nobody's throwing, at least that we've seen, nobody's throwing sticks, nobody's throwing whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you're not seeing that. Is it just the reality of what they are, or maybe what they aren't now, given without those guys that you mentioned, the injuries? We're going to get to Poitras real soon too. Frederic out, Poitras out. The recent injuries too. Is it just, I hate this saying, but I'll still throw it out there, it is what it is right now, partner?
Well, tonight there's no reason to break, like you wouldn't, even if everything was perfect, you wouldn't really be mad about tonight's game. You outshoot the team 2-1, you outchance them, you out defend them, you out everything them, and the hockey gods got you today. The goalie got you at the other end, and so no, I've never bought into the being pissed off thing just to do it so the fan base hears it. Like it's, you got to play these games and you've got to keep the best teams keep a level head. The best teams don't go up and down like a toilet seat. The best teams and the best players, stick through this, and that doesn't mean that they're not staying up at night thinking about this or worrying about this, or that they are pissed off behind closed doors. But the best guys that I've been around have never shown it.
So is it just as simple? I mean, what's next? Meaning, like the injuries are mounting up. I mean, I'm looking at this team, and by the way, I mean, I thought Sorokin played great. He's not acrobatic, so it didn't feel like, and hear me out on this, didn't feel like he stole the game, but I know he won the game for the Islanders.
He stole it.
It's like he won the game for the Islanders because
100%.
His positioning, I thought, was excellent. I mean, you tell me. I mean, from my uneducated goalie eye, so to speak, I didn't think he had to be fancy so much as he was just beautifully efficient. Fair enough or not? Or am I missing something?
Well, those 2-on-1 saves in the first. I mean, the 2-on-1 on David, on Coyle. Those are big boys.
The David one was a really good shot.
Yeah, they're rockets, low blocker rockets, and he's getting on top of it and driving into it. The power play sequence in the first where he's staying inside of his post. He doesn't get outside. His legs are quick. They're long. They cover a lot of space. So, but no, that's what he is. He's he isn't. There's not a lot of splits. There's not a lot of
not snapping the glove out of there.
Yeah.
He's not Patrick Wying it. Put it that way. Like
he's in position, and that's why he's been. This is a down year for him, but he's been very, very consistent in the 5 years he's been in the league.
Where's Swayman's game at? Because it's. I feel like he got outplayed again by the other goalie. I understand that he made some beautiful saves in the third period, and I mean, the left pad save on Fasching, not once but twice, arguably one of his top 5, maybe top 3 saves this year. Just gorgeous, and he made some big saves in the third to keep the team in it. But you needed a save, I think, on one of those first 2, and look, it's just Razor, the pressure is on him because the Bruins don't score much. It's even more squarely on him or whomever is in net. I get that. Where's his game at, in your opinion, right now, the last couple since the Four Nations break?
Well, no, that second one, the rebound shouldn't go out in front like that. And that's frustrating in a, when you're out shooting the team 25-10, probably around that point, something 25-12. And now you're down 2-0. That one, the first one's a great again, what's happening right now is you're losing by a goal 5 times in a row, and it's and you're and this is where Jeremy is he's an $8 million guy now, and the other guy at the other end was an $8 million guy, and he found a way. It's almost at times would be better. Sorokin gave up 5 goals on 11 shots last game.
I know.
And then he does like now he's so it'd almost be better at certain times. I think Jeremy's been consistent. It's just he hasn't taken that one off the board, whether it was the overtime the other day, like just that one more play. And again, when the team isn't winning, and that's on you as the starter, and that's on you as the big boy now.
And I'm cognizant that, and I don't really, follow Islander people an awful lot, right? I'm using him as an example. I'm sure Sorokin has been given a lot of heat this year, last year too, but I'm sure Shesterkin has been given a ton of heat as well, because the focal point is on them, and that's just the way the position is. I mean, and then the contract. So we obviously are most critical of the ones that we know or love the most, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, it's just how we are, because that's the focal point. So you think that first goal, and we can get to that first goal, the Romanov goal, he comes out of the penalty box on a 2-on-1. not much that Jeremy could do different there,
Well,
or is it
what I mean is, like, if it's just
good
that
shot?
goal, we're not going to be criticizing it, right? Like, you wouldn't even think about it. I mean, it's a rocket over the blocker, 2-on-1 pass across the center line. Um, at that, and the problem is the shots are 16-2. So you're like, as a goalie, you're like, that's so annoying because you would have rathered all the shots that Sorokin was getting. At least you have more of a chance on that. Again, I didn't look at it real well. Again, I'm on the glass, so I've got the little monitor. I think that maybe he could have been out a little further. Maybe he could have read that and got there a little bit quicker. But again, it's the, you know, an inch and a half above his right shoulder there. It was a rocket. Didn't go through him, didn't go under his glove like the Robertson. Like, it wasn't the same as the ones the other night, maybe.
It's only the 4th goal of the year for a guy that you would consider more of a defensive defenseman.
Yeah. Yes.
And maybe that, I mean, I don't know. I don't think a goaltender's thinking that coming down that, oh, this is, Romanov, who only has 3 goals on the season. But when it is Matt Barzal, if he was playing, it's Austin Matthews or Marner when he's playing. I think you're probably, you can tell me I'm full of what. I think you're thinking, all right, I'm here. I know who this is. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to get this. You're not worried that it's Austin Matthews who can snipe for it anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or no.
It was also like, it wasn't that. It wasn't really defended well.
I would agree.
It was at the end of the power play. It should have been closed off. Like that big left pad save, Carlo defends it perfectly because he takes a shot away. And as he's coming across, now he knows it's going backside. Now he knows he can get a jump start on this play. That pass comes across a little late and there was no real direction. So I think he's a little bit behind there because he's got his feet set over on the other side to take the shot. And so there's circumstance in that as well. But, yeah, of course, you know where the Matthews of the world are, but you also know, all these guys shoot it pretty well when they get that much time and that much chance.
It was a beautiful shot. It was. Yeah. It was a rocket. It was an absolute howitzer. So that happened at the 16:11 mark in the first period. And again, the 4th goal of the season for the Islanders defenseman Romanov. I'm going to say it every which way before.
You'll be right at some point.
Shots at the end of 2. Looking at the official game sheet, they have them at 15-6. I thought the Bruins had 60. Regardless, doesn't matter. But at that point, they'd given up 1 or 2 shots. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
The power play was beautiful. The first one, tripping call or slashing call, I beg your pardon, on Boqvist as Beecher was in. Did you see the replay on that? It ended up like, I don't even know if it was a penalty. But
no, I know. when of course, having right in front of me, I'm like, oh, it's got to be a penalty shot.
Right.
And then we'd go to the replay, and then you see Beecher almost toe pick himself as he opens up his legs. And I was like,
not even a penalty.
That's why he thought about it. And then, you had to call something there. But yeah, that's why he didn't call a penalty shot.
But the power play was really good. First unit out there, again, with the set of Pasternak on the right side, and he's moving around, and Geekie on the left. Just in general was excellent.
Yeah.
Getting everybody involved in that one.
6 shots, right?
Yep. I had 5, maybe 6. They were all over them. They were all over. Just that was the kind of power play you're like, okay, you didn't score, but it builds momentum.
Yep.
It does. And the Bruins had it. They were the better team in the first period, but because of that goal, they're down 1-0. And you get into the second period, and when I say this is a killer, it's again just how the scenario plays out. Palmieri at 4:21 is going to score after the Brock Nelson shot, the one, Razor, you just mentioned. The rebound coming off Swayman, and it goes into the middle ice instead of, let's say, into the corner. This comes though after Pavel Zacha intercepted a pass middle of the ice as the Islanders tried to go D to D, and he just completely, snuffed it out. Went for a breakaway. I actually thought on his breakaway that he went a little too much to the left. He limited his chances. I don't know if he felt the defender he felt was closing on him from off of his right shoulder, But instead of staying straight and giving him different looks, he gave away basically that he was shooting when he faded left, and Sorokin was able to stop it with his body on the breakaway.
Yeah, unfortunately, Pav. And yeah, that or he was setting up for 2-on-0. He thought David was going to get there and get up beside him, or he thought David was a defender and he was trying to. But either way, he took himself way off angle, made it real easy for Sorokin because again, you go over there, you can't deke, you can't make a move. All you can do is shoot high, short side.
Short
That's all
side,
you can do.
right?
There's literally nothing else you can do as a lefty. So I was shocked, and again, there was a reason for it. He wouldn't have done that had he known he had as much time as he did.
Barry and I were talking. Pavel Zacha has had a really good year in some way. And hear me out. Defensively, he's been really good and really consistent.
Yeah.
Offensively, hasn't been his best year, especially just like a lot of guys coming off of a really good season last year. Razor's got 2 assists in his last 6 games now. So,
those again.
I actually beg your pardon, 3 assists. He had the second assist on the Pastrnak goal tonight. So he has 3
those are the ones, those breakaway plays and those extra plays. Like he found a way to punch those in last year, and that made difference in these games.
Well, yeah, him, Geeky's brought it again this year. We know that story real well. Frederic, I mean, those guys, the more D-men brought points. I mean, they all contributed to more consistent offense, and Bruins just obviously don't have it. So, all right, Palmieri scores the goal. Let's just go back to this. So the breakaway happens. Zacha takes himself angle away. Pastrnak then tries to bring the puck back to the middle ice with a pass. I think he whiffed on it a bit, Razor. I think it kind of ends up going on his heel of his stick. Turns it back over. Islanders go down the other way. Now, they don't score here. They have to regroup one other time. But the point is that the Bruins' offensive zone time was eliminated there. Islanders get the puck back up the ice. 4 Bruins almost on one side of the ice. Palmieri's more middle. Lindholm is more, he's on the Bruins left wing side. And it ends up being Brock Nelson who gets the puck down the left wing side. He comes in, takes that high shot on Swayman off his body, I think it's a shoulder area, and it caroms maybe about 8 to 10 feet, maybe not even 6 to 8 feet to the front of the net. And Kyle Palmieri had gotten inside positioning on Elias Lindholm, and good hand-eye coordination before the puck touches the ice. He swats it into the net for yet another goal. I don't have his career splits against the Bruins, but lately it seems like he scores every freaking game against the Boston Bruins.
He does, yeah, when he was in Jersey. And what was it last year, the year before? We're talking deadline. He's going to come here, and he did the same thing. He scored a few times before, and yeah, he's just a cagey veteran, and he gets around the net. And he's got great hands. He's got a great nose for it, and then Nelson's got a rocket. We know that from him making 4 nations and shooting it a bunch in the first period as well. And yeah, Jeremy just overplayed that shot by Nelson. I think he knew where he was going, and I think he got ahead of him a little bit. And instead of that puck hitting him and going to the right and going into the short side corner, he gets ahead of it, which makes that puck go back out to the front of the net. And again, you see he has no chance on the rebound because his body's moving a little bit to the right as he drives into the shot. He stretches out, but the net's wide open because he's kind of gotten himself outside of the net to make the first save.
That is the 14th career goal for Kyle Palmieri against the Boston Bruins in his 36th game against them. That ties his high against anybody else in the NHL. The other team, the Philadelphia Flyers, 14 goals as well against them. He only has 5 assists against the Bruins, so he's the Cy Young Award winner. The Bruins are against them, so those numbers do play out, especially lately. Last couple of years, like it just seems like literally,
yeah.
Every time.
It's more noticeable now because now he doesn't really score very much. It's just the Bruins. Like 7-8 years ago, he was a 30-goal guy where he was just a good player, but now it feels like he only scores when he comes to the Garden.
So the shots in the second, 11 for Boston, 7 for the Islanders, but they're down 2-0 entering the third. Garden was quiet, and understandably so. Needed a good start to the third, and I don't know, did you feel like I didn't feel the push early on in the third? I didn't. I know the Islanders played, they shut it down, they protect middle ice, all that stuff, but it's like, I mean, they didn't do that against the Rangers, even though they outshot them and outplayed them at times. They actually left the middle of the ice open. And I mean, look at all the goals that were scored against them. But regardless, the Bruins just couldn't generate a lot. And finally, halfway through the period, almost exactly halfway through, David Pastrnak gets his 31st goal of the season. Wahlstrom and Zacha get the assist, but it ends up being a really good play by Pastrnak along the right wing wall. He beats, I think it was Siplikov twice, where he dances. He jumps by him on the second opportunity that uses the boards to get the puck by him. And then he gets the puck from the right wing half wall, just inside that circle, or just outside, I mean, and you think he's passing or whatever. He ends up scoring off of the heel of the goaltender Sorokin's stick, as it looks like he was trying to eliminate what he thought was a cross crease pass. And the most unlikeliest shot of the game ends up going in. The Garden finally's got some life. The fans are saying, okay, we're back.
Yeah, they did. And it was, they needed it. It was building because he was starting to get antsy. You could hear people talking. It was that mumble or the murmur in the crowd where people aren't really paying attention to the game anymore. That's
a baseball game. Yeah.
Because it was quiet the first 8 minutes of the third. No one, little ping pong. Bruins couldn't really get going. The Islanders were just happy to chip it out. And it came down to a second effort play by 88. And what more can you say that we haven't said about him?
Another game.
It's his effort is ridiculous. And again, you go, how hard him and Brad are working as leaders is, again, it's admirable and it's paying off for David in a big way on this point streak. And that was a great example of it, that, he's not waiting around for the streak to come to him. He's trying and forcing and pushing the pace and making plays happen. And that's a goal he just made from thin air on his own.
The Bruins have some opportunities after that. They're around the net, behind the net where you're standing. You see a lot of traffic there. Sorokin holds the fort numerous times. I mean, I'm trying to think of the other best opportunities. You were closer to the
action.
It's
probably Coyle that he tripped.
Oh, when he dove over. Yeah. The right pad.
Yeah, Sorokin got his right pad because Coyle was gonna make, he knew he was going backhand around his pad, and Sorokin got his pad in on it to take that away. That was probably the best, but there was a bunch of great traffic screenshots that if they just a seeing eye or a tip off the side of the pants, they're so close to pulling it out and finding a way to get a 2-2.
But they did not tie it. They end up pulling the goalie, but they don't tie it. They lose 2-1. They have 39 shots in the game. No moral victories whatsoever. Yes, they played well. They need points if they want to make the playoffs. And I know the players want to make the playoffs. I don't know. I don't think any of this changes anything right now. I mean, I think the team's still going to make some moves, Razor, whether they win a couple or not. Now, it is what it is now in my eyes. If they make the playoffs, okay. If they don't, well, not okay, but they're even more of a we need change. We need to make some tweaks here. More than tweaks, I think. I think we're past the tweakage level. I think we're at we need to make some decent moves. Not blowing it up, some decent moves. That's between now and the offseason. I'm not saying here at the trade deadline only. I'm saying, I'm saying in the next 6 months.
There's going to be a ton of work done in the summer. I mean, the salary cap's going up. There's going to be a ton of money out there. There's going to be a ton of decisions to make on players. I'm with you 1,000,000% that over the summer, there's still going to be, this team, they're going to do a lot of work. They do. Like Don does a lot of work. Cam does, they expect a lot, and they're going to go back to the drawing board in a bunch of different ways, whether, again, if they slide into the 8th seed or that's still going to require a lot of work.
A lot of organization. A lot of work.
That's just what they do. That's what all these teams do. So I agree with that. I don't, it's, with the Frederic injury, That's going to make things more difficult next week.
Hold that thought. We're going to get to that in a second. We're going to get to Freddie and Poitras. Okay. We're going to get to that. We'll talk about that in a moment here. I want to get to our sponsors for this show that help make Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor possible. By the way, the Bruins end up out shooting them 39-20. Pastrnak, 9 shots on goal, another 8 attempts. So how about this? Pastrnak 9, Marchand 7, Lindholm 5, and Coyle, I thought he had 5. No, he only ended up getting credit with 3. But you had 9, 7, and 5. So you had 21 of the 39 shots from 3 guys, too. Just something I saw there. All right, Graciano Construction. They're the builder you want to deal with. I'm telling you, folks, if you're in the greater Boston area, Metro West, even a little further outside, you want to deal with Graciano Construction because of what they do and how they treat you. Go check out GracianoConstruction.com or call Doug Graciano at 508-330-7589. Fantastic people to work with. Very determined and diligent of what you want. Not, they want to get you ultimately beyond happy. They want to make you thrilled. And they do a lot of great things. Check out GracianoConstruction.com. Also, check out RTN Realty if you're looking to buy, sell, or lease a new place in Mass, Rhode Island, or New Hampshire. Spring is coming. Boy, it felt like it yesterday, partner. Thank God. I need it.
Yeah.
I know you need it too. We all need it. Chris Gentile and his staff of 16 agents and support staff, they got you covered for everything you need. And rentals are going to be happening. Sales are going to be happening here. See Gentile at rtnrealty.com or call him directly at 617-835-0845 for a no-pressure consultation. Real estate market, ever-changing. You need somebody like Chris or his staff that you can trust, and they listen to what you want, not what they want you to do. And they'll help make your sale or find your rental. They'll make it a reality for you. Tell them you heard about it on Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. Again, 617-835-0845. And how about Sunset Lake CBD? Gummyville is what I'm calling it. Listen, you got to check out sunsetlakecbd.com. This is I actually, Razor, we got to take a road trip up there.
I know.
Over the summer, we got to go visit, Cy and all the guys up there that are huge into hockey, but they're also huge into this farmer-owned craft CBD. They got all different types of products. Go check out, sunsetlakecbd.com. They grow, harvest, and ship all of its craft products directly from its farm in northern Vermont straight to your door. So you can skip the lines and you will find the relief and the relaxation that you're searching for if you go to Sunset Lake CBD. They've got everything you could want. Products that help you relax after a tough day at work. They've got stuff, gummies and tinctures that help you sleep. They've got stuff with and without melatonin. I go on, depends on the day, what I need. If I have more time to sleep or whatnot, they've got focus gummies, right? Have you tried the focus ones yet? I did. Now I still have a hard time focusing because I'm, crazy, but I love them. I think they're great.
Yeah, I did. I took them on my plane traveling last week, so it worked out great,
Excellent.
Yeah,
all right.
Nice and chill.
And I know the man, the myth, the legend, RC is enjoying them as well. So if your order is 75 or over, Sunset Lake CBD will ship your order for free. Use the code BRU20 for 20% off your entire order at sunsetlakecbd.com. Again, I'm big into the sleep stuff because of how bad I sleep, and they're great. They really are. So check it out, folks. And we welcome them to the Morning Brew Jaffe and Razor family. You brought up Trent Frederic. Back to hockey talk here. Week to weeks. Looks like walking boot, leg injury, some type, ankle, leg, whatever, doesn't matter. I don't think it will impact. I think people are still going to look to trade for him. I do. He's the type of player I think people are going to say, okay, obviously look at medical reports and everything, but I think there's going to be a market for him still. Do you agree?
I do. I think it's a little bit of a different market in that
you don't get him as long.
What's that?
You don't get him as long.
Yeah, that's right. So that takes a few teams out and probably, might be worth 10 slots in a draft pick, 10 to 20. You could drop from one round to another depending on the team and who it is and the situation. I think what it also does is it makes it does make, if he does want to stay, it makes it harder for him to stay here. Unfortunately for him too, he could have made one push here out of the break to to maybe change thoughts, and that's tough as a player as well, because I'm sure he loves it here, and this is his home, and etc. So yeah, it's a tough it's tough on Don, it's tough on Trent, and just bad, not an ideal time or
No,
situation.
understatement. Absolutely not an ideal time for this to happen. But I still think that I know there's interest. Like he's the type of guy that teams will look at and they say, okay, if it's just this, we can work him back, and he could be a type of guy that helps complete the lineup, especially down the, let's call it, third line, depth type player.
Yeah,
that could provide presence for us. Another player that just got injured, Matt Poitras. We talked about it a lot upstairs. I heard you touch on it on the telecast as well. It's the ultimate cringe type injury, at least for me, watching it. Barry was, bent out of shape in the sense of, like, he's like, oh, I hate that. When doors open, what ended up happening, I'm not going to assume everybody listening or watching Islanders bench where the backup goaltender is sitting, Jakub Skarik. I'm going to fully admit I've never heard of him until I saw him on the roster the other day. I know he's a Czech kid, etc. Anyways, his job is to open the door. That's his job right there on that side. One player from about not 10, maybe 8 feet, 5 to 8 feet away, Holmstrom, is heading towards the door. I think he looks straight at him, and he doesn't seem to see Brock Nelson, who then slides his stick into the side back of Matt Poitras, which is a vulnerable spot, but it happens all the time around the wall there. The door opens, and in goes Poitras right into the side. You have very little protection. Looked like a front lower body type area, and he hit it hard. You don't expect it. There's no way to stop. There's no way to protect it. He was in significant pain, so much pain, folks, that both trainers, both the Bruins and Islanders, Islanders trainer got to him immediately, and he walked through. They had to help him through the Islanders locker room instead of taking him off the bench to go into the Bruins room. So he was in significant pain. He did not return. And you've been on the bench. You've worked the door. Unfortunate, but isn't it also the job of the backup goal? I mean, look, I don't think there's anything malicious to it, but you got to be cognizant, right, of what's going on, or is it just
totally
unfortunate play?
Yeah, that's all on him.
Yeah.
And without question, that was not done on purpose by anybody. Nelson would never have interfered with him there, would never have pushed him had he known the door was going to be open. Like, there was nothing bad there, nothing at all.
Right. I agree.
But extremely careless of a kid who hasn't been around the NHL very long. Was certainly half asleep on the bench, kind of cruising, not really paying attention to what was going on, not really paying attention to where everyone was, and that would piss everybody off. Like, the coaches will be annoyed by a young guy doing that. The players on the team will be annoyed. Brock Nelson's annoyed. Like, dude, I've got a reputation in this league, and you're not paying attention. So
thankfully, it doesn't happen more, because you would think with the amount of time that doors are open.
Well,
and
it's because it's the NHL and guys are sharp and they get it and they have feel for the game and they know where everybody is, and everybody, it's all a big choreographed ballet that guys know when there's a little bit of danger, and they'd err on that. And that's, again, it's a weird thing, and you don't know unless you know. But if that's a 12-year NHL guy who's backing up there, that door would never have gotten open. It just
you were a
wouldn't have gotten
starter for a
open
while, and I'm not being a smart ass here. I'm saying you were a starter for a while, and then you started backing up more.
Yeah.
Did your door game get better as you sat there more? Like, meaning?
Yeah, no, it was good. By the time you get to the NHL, it should be good. Of course, again, maybe my first year it was, you're kind of, it's fast, right?
Mhm.
Again, it's just fast. Like it's like, holy shit, this guy's on the bench. Holy, we got to change. Oh, but certainly, you know, you didn't have to sit on the bench long. It's just being around the game for a while. You
understand. You know what to look
you know
for.
where there's danger spots, and you just have a
You
sense.
feel. It's a feel
It's a
thing.
fence.
It's a feel
Exactly.
thing.
It's hockey
Right.
sense. It's
It's
just you
just like
feel.
the forwards are different. They work that differently. They're hopping more than everything, and they're coming in, going out, etc. But
Yeah.
I mean,
And
it's
again, as a backup goalie in that spot, you would recognize if he's really watching everything and knew what was going on. Okay, Holmstrom's still 10 feet away. This door doesn't have to get opened right away. I'm going to let this play go through. I'm going to let Nelson and Poitras go
he had
through.
blinders on,
He had
Razor.
tunnel vision.
Yeah,
Completely.
he had tunnel
You didn't
vision. He was
see
looking.
Poitras over here. He was looking, at 2:00, and this happened over at 11:00.
The officials called a major penalty
Yeah, because no one saw it, right?
because they
Like
didn't know what to call. They
I
didn't know.
didn't see it either, and you could see they
Same
came
thing.
together and like, we'll call it 5 and just figure out, what happened. I
What
don't have.
happened there? Right. And then they called the 2-minute minor for an interference. I think that was maybe, we weren't sure if they were going to call a penalty on it when we started seeing the replay.
Yeah, I'm assuming
That was game
they
management
can't
to me.
call a bench minor on that. Like what it should have been is a bench minor, or it should have been an unsportsmanlike on the backup goalie, technically. But
Yeah, I don't think they can. That's a
but
good
I don't think
question.
they can do that,
Yeah,
or
there's no rule about that that's saying
opening the door. So then
having
they
a
say, okay, well, someone's got to get a penalty for this.
right
Like you guys
game
got to pay
management.
for this.
Yes, that's what that is right there.
Yeah.
And they call that, and Poitras goes out. Unfortunately, he doesn't come back. If I remember correctly, the way it was termed by the Bruins was lower body injury, unlikely to come back. I think that's how they termed it. So I'm like, all right, there's hope. Maybe he could work his way through it. But I'm gonna guess that there's. I hope this is quote unquote all it is, which is still significant. But he might have like a 5-inch mega bruise there already in major. I hope that's what it is. I hope it's nothing more than that. But I cannot imagine. I mean, you could see the visceral, the pain that he was in, because again, it's such a vulnerable spot. I mean, I'm trying to think in all my time playing. I know I've run into the side, but I've never gone in like that. I've seen people have it happen in games, and it's scary. It is scary.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal. And yeah, you can't there's nothing anyone can do to protect themselves in that spot. It's and again, it fortunately it doesn't happen
Yep.
at all very often, and it's once a year maybe in the entire league. And
Amazing, really, when you think about it, with the amount of times the door opens
yeah,
and the bodies are flying. A
yeah.
couple of other housekeeping things. Oliver Wahlstrom put on waivers today. This comes after doesn't play much in the previous game, takes a penalty in the offensive zone. I mean, hasn't produced. Was he have a goal or two in assists with the Bruins, and that's it. But they bring in Riley Tufte and they bring Brazeau back into the lineup. So 2 new wingers around Matty Poitras. That line hardly played. They weren't playing a lot even when Matt was there, but especially after Matt was hurt, none of them reached 8 minutes, I think. Brazeau hit 8:19, beg your pardon. Poitras played a total of 7:08, and Tufte played 8 minutes, 8:08. They didn't play a lot. The fourth line was better. They haven't been nearly as good recently. They did play better in this game. I thought they were more consistent. I think almost every shift they had maybe one or two, whatever, but they were better.
Yeah.
But the bottom six is now a conundrum, Razor, for this team. I mean, if the third line, which is really your fourth line in this game, isn't producing, and the fourth line thankfully was better, your bottom six now is an issue, or at least a potential issue. It feels like
It really is. It really is. And again, Trent's been snake bitten and he's had a hard time offensively, but he's a legit NHL middle six NHLer. Like he can still find ways to get things done. I think we're going to notice that over the next couple of games, where without him in there, now you really get thinned out. That depth drops off a lot more. How much he helped Matt Poitras play defense in the defensive zone and get pucks out of the defensive zone. Like, because again, Matt's still finding his way, especially on that side of the puck. And Freddie was doing a lot of center ice and wing and everything. And that's going to be a loss there on that line. And someone's got to step up though, too. Right. And we heard that someone's got to come and take the job like Brazo did last year. Like someone's got to come in and like, all right, I've got a chance to actually make it.
Well, maybe
someone's got to do it.
I know. And I know we talked last show about, maybe you call it Merkulov. Maybe you call him up now and he's not a center. Well, actually, that's not true. He is a center. So maybe he played wing when he came up with the Bruins. Maybe you slide him into that spot, Razor, for the 2 weekend games. I know they're on the road, but be curious. I'm interested to see who they call up, assuming they have to call somebody up.
Yeah, I would agree. It'll be, are they going to go the Mark McLaughlin route, or are they going and letting her rip with Merkulov or
I feel like I'm at the point. Okay, here you go. 2 games back to back, kid. Come join us on, in Pitt and in Mini. I'm voting for that. Why not? I feel like I got nothing to lose now. Literally nothing to lose. So give them.
Yeah, we'll find out what they've evaluated, right? That's they have their sheet, they have their reports, and they'll we'll get a pretty good understanding of what they think of these guys depending on who they call up.
Yep.
Because there's no reason not to call him up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's no reason not to anymore.
But if he doesn't get called up, folks, it doesn't mean that they don't know what they're doing. It just means that they've made a decision about his game.
Yeah. Well, we'll know soon then. In less than probably 12 hours. Okay. When they make it public. All right. Anything else, bud? Anything else from the game? Anything else from the moment that we want to hit on?
No, man. It's just I feel for them. Because again, they putting a lot into it, and got nothing out of it. These since the break, especially, and it feels like they're going to keep going though. It feels like they've got the idea, the mentality that they're going to just keep working.
Be interesting to see the mentality. Yeah, I'm very curious to see that after these next. Well, let's see what happens after these 2 games. We don't need to prognosticate, but then you're talking 2 more games before the trade deadline, and that can be a real delineation or a real mark in a season if teams are able to keep bringing it or not. But we're not there yet, so we don't need to worry about that just yet. All right, the next Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor is coming after this weekend. Saturday's game is on national TV. I believe it's ABC. And then Sunday's game is back on NESN in Minnesota. By the way, I hear that game's not starting till close to 4:00 Eastern time face-off when it's all said and done, just because it's also a shared game on TNT. But Razor's going to be on the road. I'm away on Saturday in Columbus. Razor's in Mini on Sunday. When are you leaving tomorrow with the team, or are you going?
No, I'm going to fly on my own instead of going with the team. So
gotcha. So Saturday you're going to head out to Mini. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Razor, you'll be back Monday. We'll do a show after Tuesday's game when the Bruins play at home against the Nashville Predators. All right. Thanks to our sponsors. Again, we really appreciate Fazenda, Graciano, RTN, Sunset Lake CBD. We didn't get Apex and Sparks in here, but thanks to them too. We really appreciate it. Thanks to RC for helping put this all together behind the scenes. Razor, have a good, safe trip to Mini. I'll talk to you when I'm back from Columbus doing the outdoor game, Columbus and Detroit, but Columbus keeps winning. After losing a couple, they've now won 3-4 in a row. They're vibing. They're feeling it. We'll be back with you on Tuesday night. Boston Bruins face the Nashville Predators. Try and enjoy your coffee. And if it's not coffee, if it's the strong stuff, really enjoy it.